I, Deepak Prajapati, welcome you in lecture number 8 on complex numbers. In last lecture, we had discussed some examples on complex numbers. Today also we will do some more examples on the complex numbers. Okay. So let us start with this first example. You are asked to check whether principal argument of z1 into z2 equal to principal argument of z1 plus principal argument of z2. So you have to check whether this is always true or not. If it is true, then you have to prove, and if it is not true, then you have to justify why it is not true. So the answer is this statement is not always true. We have seen in earlier lectures that if we replace this principal argument by general argument, that is small arg, if capital ARG is replaced by small arg, then this statement is true. But if we are using principal arguments of a complex number, then this is not always true. So to show that it is not always true, we have to find out two complex numbers for which these two sides are different. So we start by taking two complex numbers. Suppose one complex number is -2 and another complex number is I. Now we know that z1 equal to -2 is on negative x-axis. So argument of z1 is pi, principal argument. z2 equal to I is on positive y-axis. So principal argument of z2 is pi by 2. So the sum of principal argument of z1 and z2 is pi plus pi by 2, that is 3 pi by 2. Now we find what is z1 into z2. So z1 into z2 is -2i, and -2i is on negative y-axis. So to find out principal argument, we have to measure. If we measure in counterclockwise direction, then angle will be 3 pi by 2. Angle made by this vector with positive x-axis is 3 pi by 2. But 3 pi by 2 is not principal argument of -2i because it is bigger than pi. So this angle is pi. So this is bigger than pi. So we cannot take principal argument of z1 into z2 equal to 3 pi by 2. So we have to measure in clockwise direction. So this angle is pi by 2. But because we are measuring in clockwise direction, we have to consider negative sign of pi by 2. So principal argument of z1 into z2 is minus pi by 2. And sum of principal arguments of z1 and z2 is 3 pi by 2. So you can see these two are different. So for these two complex numbers, this statement is not true. So we can say that principal argument of z1 into z2 is not always equal to principal argument of z1 plus principal argument of z2. You can take your own examples also. So in this way we can show that, or we can justify that this statement is not always true. Next example, we are given that C is any nth root of unity other than unity. Unity means 1. So what is given? C is an nth root of unity, that is 1 raised to 1 by n equal to C, and C is not equal to 1. So for 1 there are n different n roots. Among those n roots, one root is 1 itself, but we have to consider that root of unity which is different from 1. So C is not equal to 1 and 1 raised to 1 by n equal to C. This is given, and we have to show that 1 plus c square up to c raised to n minus 1 is 0. So let us use given information. Given that c is an nth root of unity, that means 1 raised to 1 by n equal to c. Now if we take nth power on both sides of this, we will obtain c raised to n equal to 1. And this we can rewrite as 1 minus c raised to n equal to 0. Now if you are familiar with this result, 1 minus z to the power n plus 1 equal to 1 minus z into 1 plus z square up to z raised to n. So if power is n plus 1 here, we have to go up to nth power. So here power is c raised to n. So 1 minus c raised to n equal to 1 minus c into 1 plus c square up to c raised to n minus 1. Okay, keep in mind here there is nth power of c, so we are going up to c raised to n minus 1. Here power of z is n plus 1, so we have to go up to nth power. Now so we have product of two numbers. One number is 1 minus c, second number is this one. So product of two numbers equal to 0, but this number is non-zero. Why? Because c is not equal to 1. So 1 minus c is non-zero. So therefore we must have 1 plus c up to c raised to n minus 1 must be 0. Okay, so this is very important example. It is asked in many exams. Now using complex roots, we can solve quadratic equations in complex numbers also. So suppose this is quadratic equation in complex number z, az square plus bz plus c equal to 0, where these a, b, c are complex constants and a is complex number different from 0. So the solution of this quadratic equation is given by this formula. Okay, you are already familiar with this formula in the case of real numbers. Minus b plus under root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Here I have not written negative sign. Actually it is plus or minus square root of this. But because we are considering complex numbers, square root, there will be two values for square root of b square minus 4ac, and they will be opposite of each other. Okay, so we will by default we will have two values here. So for those two values we will have different two roots of this equation. And if b square minus 4ac is non-zero, then we will have two different roots. So suppose we want to find out the roots of this equation, z square plus 2z plus 1 minus I equal to 0. So we compare this with az square plus bz plus c equal to 0, and we obtain a equal to 1, b equal to 2, and this is c, az square plus bz plus c. So c is 1 minus I, b is 2, and a equal to 1. So before finding out z, first we find out square root of b square minus 4ac, because we are dealing with complex numbers. So first we find out what is b square minus 4ac. So b square is 4 minus 4, a is 1, c is 1 minus I. So this is 4 minus 4 plus 4i. So it is 4i. So b square minus 4ac is 4i. So we have to find out square root of b square minus 4ac. And you know how to find out roots of complex numbers. So I have to first decide what is the modulus of 4i and argument of 4i. So 4i is on positive y-axis. So modulus is 4 and argument will be pi by 2. So we are using that formula. So r equal to 4, r means modulus. For 4i, r is 4, modulus of 4i is 4, and argument of 4i is pi by 2, because this angle is pi by 2. So using this r and theta, square root of 4i is 4r raised to 1 by 2. Here we are interested in finding out square root, so we consider n equal to 2 in that formula. So 4 raised to 1 by 2 cos theta plus 2k pi, theta is pi by 2, divided by n. N is 2 here because we are interested in square root, and because n is 2 we have two values for k equal to 0 and 1. Now 4 raised to 1 by 2 means square root of 4 is 2, and this we can rewrite as cos 4k pi plus pi divided by 4, k equal to 0, 1. So for k equal to 0 and 1 we will obtain two square roots. If I take k equal to 0, I obtain cos pi by 4 plus I sin pi by 4, and for k equal to 1 I obtain cos 5 pi by 4 plus I sin 5 pi by 4. Now to find out this, we rewrite 5 pi by 4 as pi plus pi by 4, okay, and we write this as it is. Pi plus pi by 4 means we are in third quadrant, so cosine is negative in third quadrant, so we obtain minus cos pi by 4. Similarly sine is also negative in third quadrant, so we obtain minus I sin pi by 4. And using cos pi by 4 sin pi by 4 equal to 1 by root 2, we have this, and 2 is nothing but square of root 2, so 1 root 2 will cancel out. So finally we have root 2 into 1 plus I, and here you can take negative sign outside, minus root 2 into 1 plus I. So square root of b square minus 4ac is plus or minus square root of 2 into 1 plus I. So now we use this formula, minus b plus under root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. So by this formula z equal to, what is b? B is 2, a is 1. So we obtain minus 2 plus or minus under root b square minus 4ac. Okay, we put this value here, plus or minus root 2 into 1 plus I. And after simplifying we obtain minus 1 plus or minus 1 upon root 2 into 1 plus I. So if I take positive sign, I will obtain minus 1 plus 1 by root 2 into 1 plus I. If I take negative sign, minus 1 upon root 2 into 1 plus I. And this I can rewrite as, we are collecting terms with I and without I. Okay, so this is 1 by root 2 minus 1, real part, and with I we have 1 by root 2. Similarly this can be written as minus 1 by root 2 minus I by root 2. So these are the roots of given equation. So in this way you can find out a root of quadratic equation with variable as complex variable and complex coefficients. Okay, so this is all about complex numbers. I hope you have understood all the concepts of complex numbers very well. We will require these concepts throughout the course. So we end here. Thank you very much.